hit that like button, and as always, leave a comment, and thank you for enjoying the video.
Shot to right, slicing toward the pesky pole down the line, and it's going to be out of here. Line down the right field line toward the pesky pole, leaping up, and that ball is gone. That's a home run. A lot of our Nesson team as well. High fly down the right field line, headed toward the pesky pole. That one tucked in, and that ball is going to be against the wall and into second base. Number retired, and now Rafael Devers trying to retire that baseball inside the pesky pole.
Welcome, everybody, to the Pesky Podcast. It's episode 93. This is George the OG Sutherland, and I'm with our fellow co-host, DC. And we have a very special guest tonight, Luis Vasquez, who happens to be the ball attendant for the Red Sox. So we're really excited to talk to you tonight. DC, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well. I got kicked down to the dungeon, so my daughter could watch TV in the living room. So we're thriving right now, but doing excellent.
She's happy. That's all that matters.
Yeah. We gotta keep the two daughters happy. You know, that makes me and my life a lot easier.
I understand that more than you know. Luis, how are you doing, sir?
I'm pretty great. I'm trying to keep my composure, stay calm, because that intro was pretty hot fire. I love that. So that together, I'm ready to go. Thanks for having me.
We have some talented people who put the video work together, and they never amaze me with what they can do. So,
awesome. DC, how old are your daughters?
I got a 15-month-old, and then I have a 6-year-old stepdaughter.
Wow.
So
right. Cool.
I'm a little busy, but it's been awesome. They're definitely two of the best things that ever happened to me. So keep me on my toes.
There we go.
There you go.
Game. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. So do you want to just introduce yourself a little bit, let them know what you do? Obviously we have some questions for you, but I want this more to be more of a conversation than kind of just firing off questions to you.
Cool. Yeah, I'm all for it. So Luis Vasquez, ball attendant for the Red Sox. The Red Sox are a part of my fabric. The loyalty isn't so much from a fan standpoint, which is a big part of my affinity for the team and the organization and wanting to win every year and all of that. But I've pretty much grown up there in my entire adult life. I started there the week, I think my orientation in 2007. That's how far back this thing goes.
Oh, wow.
The same week that I'm a young parent, it was the same week my son was born in the hospital. And now he looks like my dad. He's this big dude just walking around the house. And I never believe he's my son. But he was born the same week I had the orientation for the Red Sox. And that was in March, end of March. And I pretty much was raised there. I was 17 when I knew I'd get the job, pretty much 18 when I started. And everyone else can do the math to see how old I am now. But as long as I stay healthy and feeling good about what I do, I don't want to be that guy who holds on too long. I'm in season 17 with the Red Sox. I originally started out as an ambassador, which is a year-round part-time role with the team. And you get to do a lot of cool things, a lot of great things all around New England, even down in Fort Myers, mostly around the Boston area, though, on the day-to-day stuff, and even some of the customer service aspect during the games and the pregame ceremonies. So it's very hands-on. And I remember realizing that the ball attendants were under the same director of that department. And in 2000, I think it was 2008. So it didn't take me too long to inquire and say, hey, I'd love to do that. How do I do that? That was my approach in 08. And they were pretty much like, nah, we're good. Like, keep doing what you're doing. And all right, cool, no problem. It's all good. And then 2009 rolled around. I asked in a different way. I was like, hey, if you ever need anyone out, they were all set. Very kindly, they declined my offer, thanked me and all that. In order to be a ball attendant, you need to be a college athlete and on the softball team or the baseball team, or in some cases, had to have had that experience, but mostly for the onboarding, like you need to be on the team on that level. I was training over at UMass Boston to hopefully walk onto the team. I was still active. I was still good. But then I got a little money for soccer to play over there. And you got to take care of your tuition. And that, that comes first. And especially with the crisis going on now, like we've seen how far those issues go and affect families. But whole nother conversation. But I chased the money. I said, all right, fine. I'll do soccer, even though baseball is my number one. Then 2010 rolled around and they had a need, and they were like, would you mind doing this game? It was like the Futures game or something, or it was like a AAA game we were hosting at Fenway or something like that. And from then on, they kept me in mind. And I was so happy that I asked and was told no, because even though they say no, like you still plant the bug in people's ear, right? In their minds, like, hey, I'm here, I'm available, put me in whenever, I'm flexible. And since 2010, I started doing the ball attending on and off. And now I think since maybe like 2018, 2019, it's been just what I do. That's all I do, just the ball attending. I'm no longer an ambassador. And I'm so thankful for having that foundation as a Red Sox ambassador, because that plays a big role in how I do my job as a ball attendant. Like I make sure to interact with as many people as possible, try to get to know them. Where are you from? Why are you here? What brings you here? I hope you come back. And where are you coming in from? Here's some Fenway dirt, whatever it is. Like I just make sure in between innings, I'm always up, getting to know people. And it's pretty cliche. I know this is like a big topic in the off season, the Fenway experience, but that's literally what I do. Like I just feel like I have a platform. I'm in such a fortunate position to be a mediator between the players in the game, what you see on the field as a product, and the fans who are coming to support that. And I get to be like right there, smack in the middle. And I love it. I'll never go away until they literally tell me, hey, you're done. You're washed up. Time to go. And I remember it starting up, like in those 2010 days to 2018, when I would do it on and off. Like it was about like, all right, I'm ready to make the play. You're like on the edge of your seat. You're ready. It's not even about that anymore for me. I don't care about making the play. I'll bum it. I'll laugh about it. Hey, I thought you said you had it, to like a fan of the front row. Whatever it is, like we play it off. It's fun. I don't care anymore so much about making the play. That comes after. It's about the fan experience. It's about what can I do to make this little kid want to come back again, or what can I do to make sure this group of fans from Japan have the best experience of their life at any sports venue they'll ever be at. It's at Fenway Park. So that's the mindset I have now. That comes, I think, with maturity and growing over the years and all that jazz. But that's in a nutshell how I got to do what I do now. And I'm so fortunate. Never take it for granted, ever.
That was an amazing answer. That might have been one of the best answers we've had to a question or an intro, since we've started this. I kind of feel bad trying to follow that up. Have you made any web gems though? Do you have like a highlight reel of your own?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's that it's crazy because lately I'm kind of in a funk with the routine stuff. So like I remember like maybe the last homestand could have been against the Cubs. Bobby Dahlbeck had a bases loaded situation. Everyone's chanting Bobby, it's big, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, he's going to hit it my way. I just know it because he's fighting off pitches, and he's usually a pull hitter, and they come hard. There's a lot of guys who you're like, okay, heads up, be on alert. He's one of them. That's a pretty strong guy, as we know. And then he hit me the most routine bouncer, and the last bounce just ate me up. I felt dumb, felt silly, and I just try to laugh it off with the fans, and that was great. Because people don't realize, in a way, the players have it a little easier because they've got space. They know there's no one around them. They know there's not a slanted wall to their right, for example, if you're on the third base side. They're in position. We're sitting. We're cold. You don't move for who knows how long, these stretches of like 20 minutes. You don't move. Your body starts to cramp up when you stretch. You can't react right away to the ball. People just see you maybe try to make the play. You make it, you don't, whatever, you chase it, you retrieve, however you approach it. But you have to see if the ball is fair or foul. You have to assess the ball. And then you make that decision. So if something's even close to the line, it's like, it's not a no-brainer to go get it. Like I'm first and foremost not trying to touch a fair ball. That's like my worst nightmare. And so anything close to the line, I'll watch it. I'll look at the ump. He says foul, I'll go get it. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. It happens. It's okay. And the Red Sox are really good about it when it happens. Because those balls are pretty hard that they're hitting over there, especially the third base side. But that's how I go about that. And so, yeah, I do have some gems. And where I was going with that is that the ones that look good are the ones that you just act out of instinct. Like, you have the ball. Holy crap. Yeah. But when you have too much time to think about it or to assess, that's when you really get in your own head. And that's the part that people don't see. Like, you need to do all these assesses, all these layers of making sure you're going to do the right thing. And that really gets in your head.
What are some of the special moments you've had in interacting with the fans? I mean, especially kids. Some special moments, perhaps, that you don't see. You're not going to see on the TV unless you're watching what's going on in the area. What's some of those?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm always scanning. That's the way we approach. I think most of the ball attendants are just always scanning. I want to make sure that I see the kids. I want to know if there's kids around me. I want to know that I'm ready, that even if I pick up a lightly hit ball next to the third base coach that doesn't even reach my way, that I'll know exactly who to give it to. You don't have a lot of time in between at bats or pitches. And so you have to be ready and be on your feet. So I'll try to make sure I hit kids, young kids. I'm known sometimes to don't tell anyone that, to bring a few extra baseballs down to the field before the game starts, and I'll give them away, or I'll toss them on my way to the third base side where I usually start out. And I'm looking for kids. I make sure to hold the last one to run one over to make sure it gets to a kid. And, one of the things that is, it's not confusing to me, and it's not a criticism, but you'll see the players kind of chuck the ball into the stands when the ball is not in play anymore. It's dead. It's a dead ball. And most of the time, the people who are able to get them are adults. It's like grown men fighting for it. I'm like, man, I wish they would just give it to us more, because they know the shtick. They know what we're doing. We'll give them right to a kid. But it's fun. A lot of the Red Sox are really good about that. The players, they'll give them to us because they know the deal. I see a lot of the return of the ball to the dugout. You'll see that a lot too. I'm like, okay, you kind of want to come through with some promises, but it's not about us. It's not about that. But you find yourself rooting for kids, for people who have trekked their way to Fenway or are here for the first time. I look a lot for the first timers. I bring down first timer goodie bags with Fenway dirt and stickers inside.
Oh,
I'll always make sure to bring 4 down just in case. So if I meet someone special, mostly kids, but if it's someone from another country or something, hey, a little something you can take back to Japan or Mexico or wherever it is you're coming from, and it's a piece of Fenway, it's a piece of Boston. That's what I'm always scanning for. It's just, man, I have the best job in all of baseball besides playing shortstop. I love it. So kids,
that's cool.
And I think that's my youth work background. I used to work in youth work, but I'm very about my community. But now I work in communications. I've done communications, PR, all that kind of stuff, full-time job. And so I love that, being a ball attendant, especially with my Red Sox background and the things I've learned there. I get to bring all of those skill sets into that one thing that I do, and get to make it mine, and get to put other people at the forefront of the Fenway experience and leaving with something special. So always trying to bend the rules in a good way so that I can go above and beyond for someone who is there, who could really leave home with that appreciation of that Fenway experience. So even if it's getting a toddler onto the field for a quick picture and then giving them back real quick, I know that's it's so easy for me to do. And so why not be able to enhance the experience? Obviously not during the game. I don't bring them during the game, but things like that are if that's within my reach, or to have someone take in front of the green monster, or interact with someone or be on their TikTok and, do this. Oh, sure. I got you. Let's do it. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. That's so easy to do. That's so doable. And they leave with a smile. I love doing that stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. To see, obviously you show a passion for, providing that Fenway experience. So that's just really cool to hear. To kind of piggyback off of fan interactions, do you have any interactions with like the coaching staff or the players in any capacity, or is that kind of like a no-fly zone? I mean, obviously they're there, doing their jobs essentially, playing baseball. I was just curious about that.
No, yeah, there is some room for interaction for sure. Some stuff is, you've already got your history of having worked there, and some folks being familiar with you already. Like I remember like Devers, him and I have like a little routine. 9 times out of 10 we'll catch each other before the game. I walk up the line and just give a little salute or one of these. That's a part of the routine when I'm in there. And he's someone that I met when he first got called up. Obviously being there since 2007, I was there in the Ted Williams days. Like I saw everybody. I've seen people come and go. So it's been cool to see all the players, old and new, come in and go out. But Devers is one that's like really, I feel like no matter how much money he makes, how many web gems he makes, how many home runs he hits that game, like he's just a down to earth dude. And big kudos to the front office, because since 2007 that I've been there, you notice they bring in guys who are about the team, who are about the community. And if you don't fit that mold, like you're not going to last here very long. Like there is no I in team with the Red Sox. And so they bring in like really good people, not just great baseball players, but good people. And that rubs off, and that really has a ripple effect throughout the organization. And that's a part of why I stick around, because it's good people. Fenway's like family. Look at this podcast and look at all the initiatives around like supporting the team. That's because like we all feel like we're a part of this machine, this thing, this fabric that makes us who we are, and we're all in it together. And that's as corny as that can sound. It's real. Like this is Boston. Like this isn't anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like this is Boston. This is what we're about. So being there is like family. So yeah, you get to interact with players, and sometimes like you do have like the oh my God moments. Like last year, I remember walking past Ohtani shoulder to shoulder in the batting tunnel, and like he says hi. I'm like, oh my God, Ohtani just said hi to me. Like that's like whoa, like but you're so used to it. Like I've worked being at the Red Sox with celebrities and politicians and players, but like Ohtani, like that dude is the GOAT. He's gonna go down as one of the best ever. Or like thinking back to my old days, I remember talking to a group of buddies, and Sammy Sosa comes up behind us making faces and being funny. Like that's Sammy Sosa. That's crazy. So like the access comes with great responsibility, obviously. And there's so much, a lot of rapport that you build just through different moments and interactions, especially when they give you the ball. Those are times that you connect. Xander, for example, would always whip the ball my way when he would give me the ball after a play from shortstop, and then he'd always smirk, and I'd tell him strike or ball or whatever, but I'd look at him like, dude, just whip that. And he found it funny. But other guys, they get a crack, usually visiting team players, or like Evan Longoria is known for it. Swanson on the Cubs, like they'll roll a ball your way when you're not looking, and they just get joy out of hitting the bucket, like hearing the and no one's paying attention, or you're looking a different way. So there's always all these little things that like you just end up having this connection with players and people who are visiting Fenway, who are well known for stuff in the community or stuff that they do in Hollywood or stuff like just. It's great to be able to do that. Like Dr. Shepard, you guys watch Grey's Anatomy?
Mm-hmm.
My wife loves it.
My wife. Okay, that's exactly where I was going with that. My wife is a huge fan, watches it season after season. And as a partner, like there's times where you can't help but to start watching too and look over the shoulder, right? Hey, guilty. So Dr. Shepard, dude, Patrick Dempsey, he was there. And so she's like, oh my God, she's melting. And she's like, wow. When we got home, she's like, that is so cool. Not that you got to be with him, but the fact that he'll remember you because you guys played catch at Fenway Park. So I got to warm him up, which is something that we offer for people who throw first pitches. She's like, you guys got to play catch at Fenway Park, and he'll always know who you are. So I'm like, wow, that's so cool. You're right. Like, these are things that sometimes we have to like wind back and appreciate what it really is, instead of always being on work mode. But yeah, I don't take it for granted. I'll sit in the seats before the games, or on off days, I'll go in. I just appreciate the stadium. I'll appreciate the silence. I'll appreciate the color. I'll appreciate the sounds of BP, or I'll go around and say hi to everyone and their mothers. Like, that place is family. That place is a part of who I am.
So before the game, you said you will warm up people who come out, and throw first pitches, and you go out and give balls and things like that to kids, and try to spot people or first timers and things like that. You have any other particular responsibilities, or the Red Sox should just say, hey, this is a fan experience, make it the best as possible?
Absolutely. Like, they've been great about letting me do my thing. Because at the foundation of it, I'm an ambassador, like, to the core, to the definition of that term, not so much the job. And so the duties of a ball attendant are assisting with the pregame ceremonies. And so that includes the ceremony of first pitches, helping to coordinate the logistics of special ceremonies. So like when we have those reunions, right, for the 2000, who just came on opening day?
The 04 guys, yeah.
4 team. And so helping to move those guys around and be on the field. And then for the pregame ceremonies, we always have our earpieces and our radios, and we've got all these voices going on, to the left, or do this or do that, or bring them this way, or hurry up. We're all just one unit making this thing go. And so I love being out there, meeting different people who have done amazing things in all aspects of life, from all different backgrounds, and being a part of helping to celebrate them is a huge highlight of the job. It's not just show up and get foul balls. So it's a lot more than that. And that's the part. The fan experience and the pregame ceremonies are very special. And the Red Sox, top notch, just based on going to other stadiums. Like, I am confident saying that. I might sound biased, but the Red Sox know how to throw a party. It's a great thing to be a part of. I love it.
Cool.
This will kind of piggyback off what George just asked. What's a typical day in the life look as far as like a game day? Like, yeah, when you had,
I think universally though, for all ball attendants, like all my colleagues on the team, we try not to drink too much. It's like water or coffee before the game, because again, like one of the jokes I tell people all the time in the front row, like, wow, they're like, you have the best seat in the house, you got the best job in the world. I'm like, actually, you have better seats than I do. You have food, drink, bathroom, shelter. Wow, I never even thought about that. I don't have any of those things.
Yeah, you can't disappear into the left field wall like Manny, right?
Oh, I can't pull a Manny. No way. So that's my go-to line when I get complimented. When people compliment me, like I just have this way of like just turning it back on them. Like and it's funny because like my job during the day, which is not with the Red Sox, my full-time job is somewhere else. And I'm in communications, and I'm there's 200 people in my organization, but I'm like a one-man team with what I do, which is great because I have a lot of creative control. But my job during the day is to make other people look good, with position people how they should be positioned. And then I go to Fenway, and it's very different, right? You're like on the big stage, and you're like interacting with all these people and players and executives or whoever. And when a compliment comes my way, I just naturally like just throw it right back to you. And I just want to make sure that we're as hospitable as possible, because that's what the Red Sox want. It's how I was raised there. And I'll just never forget, I wouldn't be there without 2 people in particular in 2007 when I went to a job fair that they had. And so I think back a lot to that moment, which I will never forget and will always hold an appreciation for, else I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing with this huge chapter in my life of the Red Sox. And sitting in section, I believe like around 19 in the grandstands, and going for the first time myself with a baseball glove, with my full uniform from wherever I was playing in Little League, and ready to catch a foul ball. I was determined. I needed to leave there with a ball. And I remember I went with my older brother and my dad. It was the three of us. And they ended up seeing some better seats down below. Hey, that's what we do, right? And so you move down, and I'll never forget. It was around the 6th or 7th inning. I had camped out my original seats up until then, got nothing, and literally a few minutes go by, and a foul ball hits the exact location.
Oh no!
Literally bounced off our seats, and all the other kids in the area just had a Royal Rumble for it. And I'm like, wow, that could have been me. And so it's ironic how years later now I'm in this position to give away all these baseballs and to make your day and to make you feel special. And I'm not keeping any of them. So it's cool to see that kid went on to now give that away. And that killed me. That pained me for so many years. That's something still, obviously, I'm telling you now, I just don't forget it. I don't forget that beat. You know, it's just an awful feeling, worst day of my life. And now I get to give those out. So that's pretty special to me. I don't take that for granted. And so I try to do that, even if it's just giving a ball away or giving a high five or taking a picture with someone or getting to know someone. Like, I do it to the best of my abilities. That's important to me.
Comes full circle. That's really interesting how that all kind of worked out. Do you have any goals, associated with the Red Sox, past whenever you eventually stop doing ball attendant?
Yeah. So
if you were able to say it, if obviously.
Oh yeah. That's cool. No, for sure. I've been able to do so many cool things with the team that I don't think when I'm done being a ball attendant, it'll just end right there. I do have a personal goal to get to season 20 and most likely be willing to hang it up. And I'm at 17 now. So I'm getting there. In my mind, the window's closing. I mentioned it to my wife. I mentioned it to my cousin, who I have a great relationship with. And they were both like, what? My wife thinks I go too much. She's not wrong. And my cousin, he's a big supporter. He's, so is my wife, huge. That's why she lets me go. But to hear them both be like, what? No, you can do this till you're like 45. Like, nah, I'm not going to be out there looking silly. I don't want to be that guy. Like I told you, like, I don't want to not look the part or like, nah. To me, I want to be able to do other things too. And so I do have a little bucket list of things that I have left to do at Fenway that if I'm fortunate enough to be allowed to do those things, I would love to do them past season 20. But I probably just have a few more seasons. So at the same time, the way I go about my job is also that. It's that I know my window is probably closing, and I try to document it as much as possible, taking a lot of pictures, sharing the experience with a lot of family, friends, fans who are there who I just met in the first inning. Like, I want to make sure everyone feels the power of Fenway, can leave impacted by how amazing that place is, to take home the energy that is Fenway Park, that is the Red Sox. So I really mean that. When I'm there, when I suit up, I'm going to do that and represent to the best of my abilities because of that.
Excellent. That's cool. What's some of the weirdest things that you've been part of?
There's plenty of those. Being asked to sign certain things, or
we'll leave it at that. We won't make it. We won't make it. Yeah.
And so, or being asked to take. I understand the ask. I get it, but I'm like, oh my God, I'm so unworthy. No, of being offered someone's ashes and to do something with them.
Oh wow!
In the field. I'm like, no, I thank you for allowing me to maybe do that for you, but no, those things come to mind. I get asked for my clothing a lot. You'd think like, oh, the jersey. No, it's like everything. Like it's like there's some people out there who want to strip you down, take your winter gloves.
Yeah, to remind me, they do have a dress code, right? Yeah.
Right. Your sleeve, your glove. Like, no, but the team gives it to you. Like, no, this is my personal glove.
Mine,
I've had this for like 12 years. I broke it in. I worked on it. It's all I've got. Yeah, that's the part that surprises me the most. People want your helmet. Yeah, no, you see some weird things. You see, obviously with the access that you get to players as well, like it's cool to see them as humans, and you get a little glimpse of like who's who and what they're like, and being able to see, okay, this person behind the scenes is just like the guy you see on TV. That's a great thing, or this person is a little different than what you might see or know. And so to be able to have that view is pretty cool as well, that behind the scenes stuff, and to hold that and to be entrusted with that access and information. But the weird stuff for me is when literally people, they want your shoe, they want your cleat, and they're serious. They're not kidding around. Or give this item. Can you go run over to Devers? Like,
no,
it's the third inning, and you get that a lot. But yeah, I'm sure. Like, I'm not giving you the weird moments. There's weirder than that. They're just not coming to mind right now. But you get to see a lot of everything from that standpoint. It's a good time. It's fun.
Keeps you on your toes.
Keeps you on your toes. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like I take pride in not letting people like stump me, and you've always got a response. You've always got something to say, even if it's weird. You go with the flow. You play it off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you're visiting Fenway. You're not working a game. Where would you sit if you could sit anywhere in Fenway as a fan? What seat would you sit in, or what section, I say, or area?
Yeah. So when I travel, I go around and I don't know if you guys do this, but when I go to a different place, even if I've been there before, like I have to hit the stadium or an arena or go to some kind of game. I'm always looking for that hub or whatever, right? That's just, hey, we're programmed to do that. And so I always look for, my filter is row 1. It could be all the way up top, row 1. It could be all the way on the bottom, like if I luck out, but I'm always putting the filter to row 1. I don't like people walking in front of me or sitting in front of me. I don't like that. Maybe it's because I sit on the bucket now and I got used, who knows, like I'm spoiled, but mostly it's because I like bringing my daughter with me to games, and I don't want her to not be able to see, because then she disengages and then I can't enjoy the game. And if she's in row 1, then we can both enjoy the game, and I keep her busy with ice cream or something instead of wanting to go home and walk in the concourse. But I think that I've learned to appreciate beauty of ballparks. And so my personal favorites are up in the pavilion at Fenway. I love being able to see the stadium hug you, especially from the side, like the third base side near home on the pavilion level 4, the level 5, I'd say, the top of the stadium. You see everything. You see Boston. You see the Prudential. You see all the colors of the game, of Fenway, of the fans. It's just all the colors are popping. The sky, the skyline, the river. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That to me is the number one place to be. If I bring someone around, like bring them in or give them a tour, I'm like, you have to come see this from up top. It's an amazing view. I would gladly watch a game from there. I don't care about sitting behind the dugout or anything like that, but that at Fenway, that's pretty special, because you breathe it. You're able to really grasp the beauty of where you are. It's not just Fenway. Like, this is Boston. There's a lot of pride that comes with that.
I have to keep that in mind next time I go up there.
Yeah. Where do you guys like to sit?
I like outfield wall, row 1. That's a big, like whenever I visit parks. I'm from PA, so
Gotcha.
Philly, I go to a lot. I haven't been to Pittsburgh yet. I've always wanted to go there. I heard that park's absolutely phenomenal.
Same.
Or I would, when I went to Boston, every time I've been there, I sat on the third base side, like a little bit, like closer to the monster, but probably in between the monster and the dugout.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a great place to be. Nice.
Yeah,
some of those, right? They're angled towards the infield, or
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
I've sat all over Fenway. Thank you, vendors who provided services to the companies I've worked for. Probably the best was when Clemens was pitching. I was 8 rows behind home plate, and I love watching good pitches pitch. So sitting behind home plate is great. The one place I'm looking to do, and it's on the bucket list, is to sit up in the monster seats. because they didn't, I haven't done that yet, but I've been all around the park. I love, any place where you can see the field is a good place. When I go in other places, a lot of minor league ballparks, I try to sit somewhere near home plate because, like I said, I like to watch pitching. Did do a game in Coors, 4 games up just behind third base from the field. That was a cool place to watch a baseball game at Coors Field. The ball does fly out of there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I feel like, anytime people ask me, like, where should I sit? I'm going to get tickets to the game. Like, honestly, like Fenway, there's not a bad seat in the house. Just make sure it doesn't say obstructed view because it is obstructed. You've got the poles and all that.
Oh yeah, there's no denying that. You spend half the game like I'm over here.
Exactly. So luckily the team is transparent about it. It is Fenway, open in 1912. So the work that has gone into preserving the place is amazing. So I do love the transparency and obstructed view. Hey, it is what it is, but there's not a bad view in the house. It's a small stadium, so it's great. I especially love when the NL teams come because they travel pretty well. Their fans, man, they bring a lot of like different energy to the ballpark when we're playing. That's a lot of fun too.
Excellent.
What's your favorite park, not Fenway? If we're visiting a park that you've been to.
Yeah. So we go every year to San Diego, and we hit LA, and we do some Mexico and all that. So I love Petco, and which is like in general, it's documented that's like one of the top ballparks. So I know I'm not being biased with that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and I love bringing my kids there. Like you could tell they were thinking about the family experience. It wasn't just about the playing and the baseball and the product of the field. It was like, we want families to enjoy this and to be a part of this and to spend time here, even if they're not going to watch the game. So you see what they've done with the plaza over in center field and left field. It was already great, and they redid it. I'm like, wow, all right, it's even better, but they didn't need to touch it. It was great already, but they made it better. But they even have like a little sandy area where I got to put my daughter to like entertain herself with other kids, and she got to play in the sand like as if she were at the beach, and I'm just watching the game. That's a beautiful ballpark. Or if it's a non-game day, you get some coffee and you sit in that plaza, that grassy plaza they have in the outfield, because it's one of the public, and you just have this big open stadium looking at you, and you're looking at it, and then it's just like, wow, like you get to really have this intimacy with the ballpark that they've put a lot of thought behind to share it with the community. That's the part I appreciate. It's not closed off, like literally it's open, and anyone can enjoy that, whether you love baseball or not. Like that's a must see.
It's a beautiful place, and no matter where you walk around, you go, wow, this is really cool.
Beautiful.
Beautiful part of the city too. It's down the Gaslight District, which is
right. And it's right downtown. Absolutely, and it's so great. Not a bad view in the house. They bring the energy, and then we go to Florida a lot too. And I do like going to Lone Depot Park. The Marlins games, man. I wish. It's unfair to compare it to this, but the World Baseball Classic being what it was, everything they did at that venue was filling the potential of what baseball can look like down there. Like you were like, wow. And then, okay, you could say it was just a World Baseball Classic that happens. You could hold that anywhere, and that's going to happen. All right, cool, no problem, sure. But then they had the Caribbean series a few months ago before the season started. I went to that, and that was pretty electric too. That was like, wow. And for a lot of us who like the World Baseball Classic, I'm not against it. I love it. That was like a piece of that coming back. And so I really appreciated that. But being there for those two tournaments, I'm like, man, like there's a lot of things that like the Marlins can tap into here, especially with the huge Latino base, all the Dominicans and the Venezuelans and like all those nearby countries, the Puerto Ricans, Cubans, they're there. They're ready. They're like, they'll fill your stadium. So I really hope they figure out that formula, and they're working on it. So kudos to them. Like I saw that they are encouraging fans to bring instruments now and things like that. And that kind of hits on more of like the other countries that have the baseball culture. It's done differently. than here. And so I love in general that we're seeing all the cultures merge together now, especially with the American game, which has been more like traditional.
Yeah.
So,
Is there a place that you haven't been that you want to get to see? In terms of stadiums.
Yeah. So I keep hearing about Pittsburgh. So I was happy you brought that up. That's I got to do it. That's a must see. Have to, I guess, make a weekend out of that and enjoy the city too. But that's on my list. I think the ones I've really wanted to go to, I've gone.
Okay.
I wanna go to Toronto. I haven't done that one. I want to. Doesn't really answer the question, but I do want to travel to one of the international games that MLB does. So they just did one in Mexico. We did one in London. That I want to hit that. I'm really big right now on growing the game internationally. Like that. Wow, seeing the World Baseball Classic like lit a fire in me. That was.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about the World Baseball Classic? I know there's a lot of varying opinions.
I loved it.
You loved it?
I've been watching it since,
it's great.
Okay.
Oh, was it 2006 the first year they did it? I could be wrong about that date. But I remember I talked my dad into let me skip school that day. I was in like 10th grade or 11th grade. And I remember being so stoked for it, man. I've been hooked on it since.
Same. Yeah. I think it was
especially you see these guys that you see play for even your own team and then other teams, and now they're part of it. They're representing their country.
Right.
There's a sense of pride that goes with that. And then 3 weeks after the series is over, they're going to have to go join the teams and go compete against these guys and try to defeat them. But for the time that they're together, they're one of the most cohesive units you'll ever see. And not only that, they're having fun at what they do, and it's just a great pride for representing their country, and it shows. I mean, even countries that are not powerhouses, there's a degree of pride that shows when they go out there and they put their very best effort forward. So
that's right. They're there because they want to be there. They're not there
exactly.
For it's just different approach and different motives. And I love that. Especially like you said, like seeing all those guys come together who are used to competing against one another, or even like a guy like Robinson Cano, who was out of MLB, but then all of a sudden you see him back in his prominence and he's rejuvenated. Like I like seeing that.
And they said the national pride just comes through, and I think that's huge.
Yeah, I love that. I really would love to see that be maybe every 2 years at least. I think that's huge.
For sure.
That'd be awesome.
Sure.
See, yeah. So we'll see. I'm on that bandwagon, absolutely.
But I think we're all on it. So, well, us three. I know there's definitely, like you said, people out there that might be the biggest fans, but I think it's amazing for baseball. Brings everybody together, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's just fun to watch. The electricity is just. I mean, there's obviously electricity in MLB, but it's just a different. I don't know. It's a different feel, and even when you're watching on TV, man, it feels incredible. I can only imagine being there.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, I went to that DR Venezuela game. I had to be there.
Wow.
I had to. I didn't care what it took, how much it cost. Like I made sure, like I'm going to this. I don't care. It's like maybe once in a lifetime. You never know. So to me that was huge, and so to be a part of that. I remember I forget what pitcher or what player last year referenced that. Like I think during the playoffs or the World Series, it was like this doesn't even compare to that Venezuela DR game. I forget who it was, man. But he got a lot of heat for that. But I'm like, man, like those of us who get the World Baseball Classic, we get what he's saying. We get it. Like whether you don't, like you get it. You get what he was trying to say. But it's even the players, like you see how divided they are. There's so many like TikToks or whatever videos on social media where they're asked like, would you rather win a World Series or win the World Baseball Classic? And it was like really be generous down the middle. But both are. Which one's bigger? It depends on how you see it and what you're about. So it's great to see the cultures come together, be celebrated, even clash in a fun way. The music, the fans, the drumming, and it's like a high, like a baseball high. Like, wow, am I in baseball heaven? Like, this is amazing. And I wish every MLB could have some sort of aspect of the World Baseball Classic, because we're pulling in so many international fans now. See a lot of fans coming from different places, and I know that for a fact. And it's great to see the teams across MLB try to embrace that and start new initiatives and incorporate how they go about ways to make everyone feel welcome. And that baseball's headed in the right direction, especially with the young new stars coming up, the Otanis of the world, Tatis, bunch of young up and comer studs that I think we went through kind of a gap without having that between the older generation and where we are now. I think we're in good hands. It's
a different world, especially social media has created a kind of like a separate fandom, and the guys that are really into it do well, and they're launching their own brand and who they are. So they're getting their names out there. People are getting to know them. It's breaking down walls, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, totally. And you always see the older players like, man, imagine if we had Twitter back then. Like, yeah, maybe our careers would have gone a little different. So, yeah. Especially, being at Fenway, being one of the few people like blessed enough to be there during the games. Like, that's something I always keep in mind. Like, there's always someone watching you, whether it's a kid or a camera or a boss or a GM or a player, your mom, your dad, someone is always watching you. So it's important to lead by example. It's important to do the right thing. It's important to not get mad if the team's doing bad. I bring me to work. I bring me. And if we hit a home run, I'm cheering too. I'm high-fiving. I'm excited, and I will be unapologetically me until they tell me otherwise. But I love being able to be entrusted with that platform and to make the most of it for the fans who come to Fenway Park. That's huge for me. That's huge.
Cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's it. Yeah.
Really appreciate you coming on. I mean, I'm tapped out. You basically did the job for us. You did awesome, man. It was a pleasure to have you. It's really cool to see somebody, in the thick of it all, in that side of the operations, and just speaking with you, I can tell they had the right person. The humility is outstanding. And the passion that you show for the Fenway experience and the fans is really, really special. Can't say enough good things about you after this. So
likewise. No, thank you. I appreciate that. Likewise. You guys are doing a tremendous job, and I love how this conversation was just very down to earth. And I hope to see you a lot at the ballpark. Like, let's connect, and we'll continue on. And if I can ever be of assistance in any way, I'm happy to. And I know that I alluded to it earlier. None of this would have been possible. I would love to shout them out. We used to have folks by the name of Michelle Julian and Andre White work at the Red Sox, like way long ago, back when I went to that job fair. And do I have time to tell that quick story?
You got as much time as you want, buddy.
Go for it.
See, that's that old age kicking in. Like, one more story. I got to sit down.
Well, I got old age on you, brother, right there.
So I remember my mom, I was like 17. My mom had this clipping from the newspaper, and it was for a Red Sox job fair. It was a 2-day event. And it was being held in I think it was called the EMC Club back then, and which it remained for many years, the EMC. So that was being held at the EMC Club. And she put it on my wall. She taped it. I got home from hanging out with my friends, and she walked into my room like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? Hi, like, what are you mad at?" She's like, "No, are you serious? You're here? Why didn't you go to the job fair?" Like, what are you talking about? What job fair? And she points to this clipping that was taped on my wall. I'm like, I didn't even know that was there. And like, I saw something on my wall, but I didn't want to read it. I didn't want to see what it was. Like, I didn't put that there. And that was just the mindset of me as a teenager. Like, whatever. Yeah. And then I'm like, all right, I'll go tomorrow. Then I get home the next day, same deal, hanging out with my friends, all that. And she was pretty upset. She was really mad because, you know, that's the Red Sox. And I grew up watching the Red Sox and rooting for the Red Sox, still do. And are you freaking kidding me right now? So she wasn't pleased. It was, I believe, like 6 o'clock, 6 something, and it was about to end that second day of the 2-day job. And that job fair, they're looking for day of game employees, ushers, greeters, whatever, ticket takers. And that's the part to me, like, that's not for me. Like, I'm too young for that and whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'll go. Just kind of have like a woosah moment with her. I'll go. I got you. Let me go. Like, so, you know, we're so dumb when we're young, right? Like, I really felt like I was doing that for her, right? Like that's so, you know, far from the truth. And so I take the T, I take the red line. I'm born and raised in Cambridge, still live here. So we're right there. So I hop on the red line, switch over to get to Kenmore, get to the ballpark. I arrive, job fair, gate D. They point me to the elevator, go up to, it was actually level 4. So it was at the pavilion. And I remember not going to the main entrance of the Pavilion Club. I went by accident. I took a right and I ended up at the side glass door where you could see inside. And to me, that was my growing up moment. That was like when I went from a boy to a man, because when I looked inside that room, I saw a full room of people with suits on, ties, little leather portfolios with resumes neatly tucked inside. And I took a look at myself, and I had jeans on and a fitted hat and a t-shirt, and totally the opposite of what I was supposed to do and what everyone else was in there presenting and looking like they really wanted to be there and to be a part of the Red Sox and all of that. And I was totally ashamed. And I didn't even want to show my face. I couldn't go inside. I wanted nothing to do with that place. And I walked away. I went back to the elevator and I pushed the button to go down to leave. And this guy, Andre White, who at the time was a coordinator for human resources, I didn't know that at the time. He came out, followed me, and I see someone else joining me in the elevator area. I just kind of, okay. And I'm waiting. And he says, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, down the ground. Are you going to ground?" And he's like, "No, where are you going? Where are you off to?" I'm like, "I'm going home. I'm all set though." He's like, "You're not all set." No, I'm good. I'm going down ground and out gate D, right? So I'm still insisting, I'm out of here. I didn't know he came from inside, and he put his arm around me, kind of pulled me away from the elevator, and he said, "Young man, you came here looking for a job, so come with me." And he walked me, still on his arm, into the Pavilion Club through the main entrance and sat me down at a round table. I'm super red, super ashamed, because now I'm in the room, this fish tank with professionals, young professionals, and I don't look the part or feel the part, and I'm the furthest thing from it. And so he sits me down, he pushes an application my way, he says, "Fill this out, let me know when you're done." The event had already ended, but the room was still full. To interview, you did a screening interview first, and then you went on to the department that they recommended you for to do that interview. There was a huge line still to be screened. So when I was done, he gave me an index card. He put me at the front of that line. So I got to cut all those people with the suits and the portfolios and the resumes. I was on my way right away. And then Michelle Julian, who also was an executive with the team, wrote down the number of every single department that was interviewing. Instead of giving me one number, she gave me all the numbers. And I ended up doing an interview, and I was hired on the spot on the first interview and went no further than that. And I remember telling them, like, what? Like doing like a quadruple take. Like, you want to hire me? You're telling me I have a job? You want me? Like, word for word. Like, you're going to hire me. Like, you like what you see? But I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I told them, like, I just rolled it. It all came out. I shouldn't be here, and you're hiring me. And I walked away like cloud nine, couldn't believe it. So happy to tell my mom. And without Andre putting his arm around me and following me out, things would have been different. I would have never had this amazing beautiful, privileged chapter in my life that is the Red Sox, and having grown up my whole adult life there and all the special things I've done outside of my job duties and the people I've interacted with and the things I've been able to do to make Fenway Park a special place for people all around the world and to share with my kids. What a journey. It's like a roller coaster, having World Series rings, like just right there next to me here. And this picture here with Pedroia and Jackie Bradley Jr. holding the WWE Red Sox belt for the parade. And like, I just look at the whole journey like a movie and how different that could have been for me. Like non-existent, none of this. It wouldn't even be a part of my identity. Had Andre not put his arm around me and brought me back in the room. So that's how I got
an incredible story.
That's cool. That is the coolest thing I think I've ever heard.
Appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, I've never really shared it publicly or anything, or even the people who work there, who I admire and respect. But I wanted to make sure that if there's an opportunity to throw flowers to Andre White and Michelle Julian, you guys, this platform is it. So thank you. Appreciate you. And thanks for having me.
Thank you. That's great.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, appreciate you and see you at the ballpark. When are you guys coming? You have any tickets yet?
I got to get up there this summer. So I'm married now, but we had a very small ceremony a year and a half ago. And I know my wife wanted to have one. So we're having one in August. So
nice.
I knew weddings were expensive, but I didn't realize how expensive.
Yeah,
so, I'm definitely making that this year.
Oh yeah,
but I'll definitely be up.
Wedding tax. You don't know about the wedding tax? Wedding tax.
What?
Wedding tax.
What is that?
My friend just got married, and he told me about the wedding tax. My friend Nick, who also works for the Red Sox, and is an amazing person, and is like one of the best human beings you'll ever meet. But he just got married in Italy. Beautiful fairy tale wedding. But he learned about the wedding tax because when you mention, especially when he was trying to do the wedding here, you mention that it's for a wedding, whether you're getting a cake or you're getting photography or whatever, they boost up the price because it's for a wedding. So he's like, don't say it's for a wedding, and do what you can to like keep that information. He ended up doing what I did. He had a way more extravagant, better, beautiful, amazing wedding over in Italy. And I had a wedding, and my only wedding in Venezuela. And I'm like, wow. And I've always thought all these years, like, if I had the wedding I had in Venezuela here in the US, I'd be totally broke. Like, it's just like, wow, what a business. What a business. So
yeah.
Good luck to you, man. Good luck. I know it's a whole process.
Yeah, it's my wife's been awesome. I help her out when she wants it, but I gave that to her. And if she wants it, opinions on centerpieces, I'll give her my non-expertise, and I'll smile and nod, a little bit. But no, I'm excited. I'm blessed.
That's great.
Definitely blessed.
At the end of the day, whether you fork up however much money, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all priceless, no matter how you go about it. When you're done, when you're going through there in the moment, like, man, it's priceless. You don't even think about that. That's the furthest thing from your mind. So, congratulations. That's huge.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, well, this brings us to the end of episode 93 of the Pesky Podcast. Luis, we really want to thank you for coming on. This has been absolutely fabulous. This is one of the better interviews we've done. A good behind-the-scenes view of what goes on, how it all came to be for you. And you are probably one of the best representatives, I think, that the Red Sox have to get out here and do the things that you do. Your mom pushed you in the right direction because this fits you beautifully.
Thank you.
So from my man DC, for Luis Vasquez, who's our guest tonight, the Red Sox ball attendant, this is George the OG Sutherland saying thanks for joining us in the Pesky Podcast, and please come again.